Cathy Hedglen developed a love of math and engineering as a child growing up in New York. From math games at the breakfast table to a high school job repairing televisions and rewiring electronics, Cathy steadily closed in on her goal of becoming an engineer.
I always had an interest in math. I always had an interest, well, once I saw my first computer, I knew that's what I wanted. One of the things, I don't know if you remember Sputnik. Yeah, and when I heard about space and the idea of space exploration, I never wanted to be the astronaut. I wanted to be the person on the ground building the equipment that would get them up there.
Cathy dabbled with college in New York, juggling life responsibilities and working graveyard shifts for the U.S. Postal Service. Then, one night, opportunity knocked.
Pure luck. I was working nights in the post office, and I heard some noise, party noise. I went to check it out, and they were having a party because one of the guys was being picked up by the FAA. And I thought, electronic technician with the FAA. I think that's what I want to do. And I made a bunch of phone calls until I got into a program.
Cathy was recruited and hired to be an electronic technician for the Federal Aviation Administration in 1972, the first woman ever hired for that position by the agency.
Mostly what I worked on was radar equipment, and this is pre-computer radar equipment. So we had big tubes and lots of high voltage, but radar equipment to create the different displays that the air traffic controllers would use.
After 8 years with the FAA and sensing more opportunity, Cathy moved to Oklahoma.
One reason that I moved to Oklahoma was I had wanted to become an engineer. And there are a few locations in the FAA where you can change from technician to engineer pretty easily. Oklahoma City is one of them. The job I was in was, the job I got when I came here, was classified either as technician or engineer, and I was an electronic technician. So by finishing school and getting my degree, I could move in directly to an electronic engineering position.
The finishing school part is where OCCC came in. Cathy had taken courses in New York and Indiana, but had no completed degree which was required for FAA engineers. Cathy credits her OCCC advisor Jack Kane with helping her lay out a focused plan which ultimately led to her graduating with an associate degree and moving on to Oklahoma City University, where she earned her bachelor's in physics, followed by an MBA. She also taught for a time at OCCC.
When I taught out there, I was teaching Introduction to Computers. Like in teaching how a computer works in binary numbers, I love number systems, but in teaching number systems, one of the things I would teach them is the decimal number system. You think, everyone knows the decimal number system. But when you put it out there and they start to understand it, then you go over to binary, then you can go over to hexadecimal, then you can just octal, or you can just, when you understand how it grows, they all make sense.
Being a female engineer at the FAA made her literally unique for a time, but slowly more women did join the ranks, and Cathy was very instrumental in giving them a voice.
In 1988, we started a group, the Technical Women's Organization. By then, there were about 25 or 30 of us, women technicians and women engineers. And so we started an organization, and this next year we're going to have our 30th anniversary. So we get together once a year. During the year, we help each other out. Sometimes when a woman's new, she just needs someone to say, it's okay. Or what's okay, what's not okay, and help her through.
In her 20-plus years with the FAA, Cathy certainly had opportunity to play a part in a number of out-of-the-ordinary occurrences.
9/11 was certainly a shock. I had just moved to Wally Post Airport there, and all the managers were off on a training, so I was there all by myself. Well, the only manager there. And I remember trying to get televisions and get telecom set up. And fortunately, when I'd been at Albuquerque Center, there had been enough little instances that I had read the procedures and knew how the different steps in the military when, as they raised the security level. So I already knew what I had to do, so I got the book out and followed the steps. I think the most interesting time I had, I think it was 1992. I did a detail in Washington, D.C., and the Mississippi River was flooding. And part of what we were coordinating is removing the electronic equipment from airports to allow people to break the levee and flood the airport and relieve some of the pressure on some of the cities. It was fascinating. And while there were volcanoes, all kinds of good stuff to track. Yeah, that was a good job.
After her many years of service to the agency, Cathy made the decision to retire.
I retired in 2004, and I made it 6 weeks, and then I came back to work. Staying home's boring.
Cathy now works as a technical project manager for Computer Design Systems, a contractor for the FAA. In her position, she manages over 100 technicians and others.
Well, we have bench techs, electronic techs working on benches, fixing printed circuit boards, fixing power supplies, fixing equipment. We also have travelers. Our travelers travel around the country and mostly fix radars or different pieces of communication equipment that might be on top of towers.
Cathy continues to be a huge proponent for her chosen field.
There's so many different things you can do with an engineering degree. There's so many different paths you can take. I think I don't think there's any limits to the combination of things you can do. I really encourage when I interview people and I find they have loose credits, and especially if they're close, I say, how many credits do you have? When I hear how close they are, I say, why don't you go over to OCCC and have them put it together? Because then I think people like me that are just short a few credits and they don't even know it. It's not until someone lays it out and lays out the path and tells you what you need that you know where you're going.